And we are live on a Sunday night. Man, Sunday night. It feels like it's like football. Well, it's football season. We got breaking news in football, free agency in a couple of hours. But we're going to talk some college hoops panelists. We're ready to roll, breaking down the NCAA tournament. Mr. Carson Shear, how are you?
I'm doing well, Kurt. Always a pleasure to talk sports with you guys. I'm happy where my Michigan State Spartans were seated. They had a pretty big win against Wisconsin in the Big Ten tournament. They were looking like an 8 or a 9 seed, but they jumped up to 7. I like our draw against Davidson. And then if we got past Davidson, I'd much rather play Duke than like a 1-seeded Baylor or Kansas. So I like our draw in the tournament.
I agree with you. Dan Worley saying, "What's up, guys?"
What's up, Dan?
Mr.
Up, Dan?
Henry's coming right out of the gate. Colorado was robbed. Their record was good, but why didn't they make it? We'll get into that in a second.
I worry about you sometimes, Henry. You may fold under questioning.
We'll see. We'll get back to him. Eddie Murphy, good evening, gentlemen, gents. Go Nets. Have a good night. Listen, I don't want to talk about the Knicks. It's football season for me. Mr. Our handicapper and our guy, Mr. Clams, what's going on?
They already hit Rutgers, plus 1.5. They hit Michigan State. They hit Michigan, and they hit Loyola Chicago right out of the gate. Those four games just got. Oh, South Dakota State also. Those 5 games right out of the gate just got hit at the window.
Okay.
At the South Point. That was from my friend Vinny Maiulo. Runs the sports book over there. He's one of the handicappers, him and Richie Batch.
Mr. Rosen.
Good evening, gentlemen, on a Sunday night. How is everyone?
Everybody's good.
Oh, this should be an exciting, fun night tonight.
Oh, yeah, this is our second annual bracket breakdown, so we're all fired up. And Mr. Kirkpatrick, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Been a rough week, but I'm ready to roll tonight with you guys. You know,
right.
Let's have some fun this hour.
Before we get to the breakdown, again, we'll get into Henry's asking about Colorado. We'll get into that in a second because I know Kenny.
I
got snubs, Henry, and that's one of them.
I like that, Kenny, the snub man.
There we go. But we did our second annual conference championship tournament, little competition bracket, and I'm telling you, it was fun. Up and down all the way. The final totals are in, and I'll be honest, it went right up to the last day, right up to the last tournament, the Big Ten tournament, and here's the final numbers. In 7th place in his first tournament, Mr. Rosen, a total of 254 points. Nice showing, Mr. Rosen.
Thank you.
In 6th place, Mr. Joey Clams, 278 points. 5th place, Mr. Beelan, 282 points. 4th place, the defending champ, Jenny Hoops, 291 points.
New champ this year. New champ.
3rd place, Mr. Kirkpatrick, 292 points. Beat Hoops by 1. 2nd place, Mr. Valenti, 307.
Mr. Chalk.
Wow.
And our new bracket champion.
Wow. I'm honored.
Our second honored champion who will be getting money.
Something Michigan State.
Whatever Michigan State. Mr. Carson Shear with a 313 points. So
nice.
basically the way the bracket went. Basically when the bracket went though. It's even though Clams finished 6th, it came down to he won with Iowa, and it basically came down to the Houston-Memphis game. So Carson had Houston, Clams had Memphis. If Memphis would have won, Clams would have went from 6 to 1. So hey, Carson, congratulations! You are our second annual champ with 313 points.
Wow, thank you, gentlemen. That's quite the surprise. I was waiting for Kurt to announce who was second because that would basically tell you who first would be. But yeah, great competing with you all. I'm honored to take down the conference tournament. Now I just got to get you guys
let's
Madness.
Wait,
Before-
one
yeah,
second. Hey, Kurt, I want to recount. You didn't say what Sis had. You didn't tell me Sis's numbers. Maybe messed everything up.
Sis did not enter. Sis was like Brady. He took the tournament off, but he might be coming back next year.
Why? What do you mean he took it off? What do you mean? Come on, what is this guy?
Kurt, before we
Call
start,
the fun police.
we also teamed up with Carson again this year. Carson, you want to share that tournament that we're doing?
Yes,
with our
please.
audience.
Yeah, I'll share it in the Facebook and the YouTube chat again. But yeah, Kenny, Kurt, K&K Sports, and I were teaming up once again. We're doing our annual March Madness ESPN Fantasy Tournament Challenge. First place gets the second place is merchandise off of the K&K Sports Show and my merchandise store as well, whatever you guys want. And yeah, it's totally free to enter, no fee required. We just thought we would share as a good success, and I'll share the bracket with you guys in the chat right now in the Facebook and YouTube chat.
Awesome, and I'll post it on my Facebook page. I'll do it on Twitter. I'll get some people. Mark Calderio, good evening, guys. Busy with my summer wrestling. Last tournament coming this Saturday. What's going on, Mark?
Nice, Mark. What's going on?
So, again, congratulations, Carson. It was so much fun. Listen, I'm going to be honest. Setting up the bracket was awesome. Like, I did this spreadsheet. It was pretty awesome. Just highlight it, up to date. Jen helped me out with the up to date totals and stuff. But it's fun, man. It was awesome. But congratulations, Carson.
Yep, congrats.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, shout out to Kurt and Jenny for putting that together. I looked at the spreadsheet, and that was a lot of work. So shout out to Jenny Hoops and Kurt for putting.
What's nice now, though,
up.
Carson, is that's done. So next year it's just plug and play, baby. It's just plug them in, and we're ready to go. Bryce S is saying going to be a wicked March Madness. Absolutely, absolutely, Bryce. All right, Mr.
Bryce.
I'm going to break down brackets. We'll start with the East.
Okay.
All right, and we'll go conference to conference. But what we'll do is I'm going to break down the brackets. I'll give you the matchups, and then I'll go around the panel and ask for. We'll start with a sleeper out of each bracket. We'll do a disappointment in each bracket. We'll do a first round upset in each bracket, and then after we'll do our champs.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So the East, out of the East, the number one seed is going to be the Baylor Bears, and they are facing, and last year you guys noticed I caused a fun little hashtag Norfolk State chant because they were playing the unstoppable Gonzaga Bulldogs. So I started a fun little thing, and Sis said he would walk to Virginia if Norfolk State won. And that didn't happen. So maybe this year he'll walk to Baylor, Texas if Norfolk State can beat Baylor. So that's our 1-16 matchup. Our 8-9 matchup is going to face North Carolina against Marquette. 5-12 is going to be St. Mary's and the winner of the play-in game, Wyoming or Indiana. 4-13 is going to be UCLA Bruins and the Akron Zips. 6-11 is going to be the Texas Longhorns and the Virginia Tech Hokies, who won their tournament to get in. 3-14, Purdue and Yale out of the Ivy League. 7-10, a couple mid-majors here. Murray State, Joey Clams, I know you're high on them, and San Francisco out of the Western Coast Conference. And our 2-15, Kentucky Wildcats against Cinderella of all Cinderellas in this tournament, I guess, St. Peter's. Kurt, I'll start with you. I'll go first. The East bracket, I'll go by how I see it on my screen. I'll go Kurt, Paul, Carson, Joey.
And Henry's saying, woohoo, at least the Colorado women basketball team made it in. So
Colorado State's coming up, though, Henry. We got to go with Colorado State.
You know what, though? Colorado, we'll get into the snubs later, but Colorado, I mean, they do have a pretty nice
They have
resume.
an argument.
You know,
They have an argument.
They do.
All right, Kurt, give me a sleeper in this bracket that can, I would say as a sleeper, can make it to at least the Sweet 16. Not just a first round win, but make a noise to at least the Sweet 16 or maybe even further.
My sleeper is the one team that beat Gonzaga, and that are the St. Mary's Gales. I'm high on them. They could shoot. I think this tournament's always about shooting, and they could shoot the lights out. I'm going to go St. Mary's.
Okay. Paul, you got a sleeper in this bracket?
I mean, they're not so much of a sleeper since they won their tournament, but from an 11th ranked, I'm going to pick the Virginia Tech team. I think
that's definitely a
maybe
sleeper.
that's a little low for them, but that's my sleeper from the East.
I like their first round matchup for sure.
Yeah.
Carson, how about you? You got a sleeper in this bracket?
Yeah, I'd watch out for Marquette. I know they got a bad draw because they'd probably have to face Baylor. But I think that's the only team that I see that could really shock people. I like Kurt St. Mary's pick, but I think Marquette could easily beat North Carolina in the first round.
Nice. And Joey Clams, how about you?
Yeah, all you guys, those three guys, those are very good value bets there, and I'm going to look into those too. I like Murray State. I think they're a good value to get to the Sweet 16.
And you know what?
They could shoot.
Kurt, me and you are going to have it's going to be crazy because I'm going to get a two for here. But we all know how far UCLA went last year. I'm going to take Wyoming or Indiana as my sleeper in this bracket.
Okay.
I like that too.
Wyoming's a sleeper team in that Mountain West, but if Indiana can beat them, that Davis in the middle, that's going to be tough for St. Mary's to stop. So that's a scary matchup for St. Mary's. But one of us is going to have a good chance of getting a sleeper in this bracket, Kurt, and one of us is going to be definitely disappointed. All right, I'll switch order around. I'll go Paul for a disappointment in this first round. A high-ranked team that you think won't make it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, in looking at the East, I'm going to say number 3, Purdue. I think they may they'll beat Yale, but I don't think they'll go further than Murray State, than Joey Clams Murray State. So I'm going to say they're going to be a one and done. So Purdue.
Okay. How about Carson? How about a disappointment in this?
Joey Clams is going to hate me, but I think San Francisco is going to beat Murray State. I know they're hot, but I like this San Francisco team a lot, and I think they could get past Murray State in the first round.
Yeah, I think Murray State, if you want to talk about snub, they got a tough San Francisco team in a 7-10, and if they get by that, looks like they're going to be facing Kentucky in the second round. I think they got snubbed there, but we'll get into some snubs later. Joey Clams.
Hey, Carson, that's fine. You know what? Because you always got to sprinkle more, grated cheese around. I'm going to sprinkle something on San Francisco. I sprinkle that on. You know what?
The mozzarella.
Stir the marinara. Make sure there's rigatoni's al dente. I'm going to go with a disappointment. I'm going to go with the number 1 seed, Baylor. I don't even think they should have been a number 1 seed.
Carson, we're getting a YouTube, 2 YouTube comments. Hello from Low Gamer 1012, and the name is just Leprechaun saying at Carson, what's up?
What's up, Leprechaun?
Thanks, guys, for joining.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
And anybody out there who's got some picks in there, please share your picks with us. We'll get them on the air here. We're interactive for those who don't know. We'll get your picks on. We'll share your comments. My disappointment is going to be a Final Four team from last year. And they got a scary first-round matchup, in my opinion, here. They just got blown out against Arizona in their championship game. That might linger in here. I'm going Akron. I'm taking UCLA as my disappointment, and I would not be shocked if Akron beats them in the first round. But if they get by the first round,
Kenny,
there's your
Kenny, real quick. Sharp Guys just took Akron plus 15.5. Just to let you know that. So
wow.
Yeah, so you're right on that one.
If they get by Akron, then there comes my Indiana, Wyoming, or St. Mary's matchup in the second round, and I just don't see. I could see them getting upset. How about do we have a first round upset, Carson, in this bracket?
You didn't let me give you my disappointment.
Because you're Mr. Chalk. That's why I didn't.
No, I'm not Chalk.
I'm kidding. I forgot you.
I saw this team right out of the gate. It's Texas. I'm telling you, I never trust that team. And I am just going again and again. I am so big, and I talked to you today, Kenny, on the air. I watched these games this weekend, and it's when it comes to the tournament, it's always the shooting team against the athletic team that can run around, but they can't shoot. And that's what Texas is. I could see Texas, 1 for 42 from 3-point line. I could just see it. Virginia Tech beats them. Texas, I think Texas easily. I think Virginia Tech over Texas.
I like it. I like it. Virginia Tech's hot. Carson, I'm going to start this with you. A first-round upset.
Yeah, I think I would still lean more towards San Francisco.
You had San Francisco. Yep. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, that's the only game I really see. I do like your pick too, Kenny. I think the winner of the Wyoming-Indiana game could easily get past St. Mary's. Indiana had a great run at the Big Ten tournament, and then Wyoming's a good team also. So I would pick either that or San Francisco.
Yeah, let me rephrase, because we all had our disappointments in pretty much first-round upset. Do you see any double-digit upsets, Joe? I'll ask you that. Any double-digit upsets that really can light the board up here?
Yeah, I'm gonna put some pizza money on Akron against UCLA. Yeah, that's a good team. That's hot. That's rolling. UCLA's banged up. I think that they look trained to me. They could get caught sleeping. Give me the Akron Zips with the points and a little pizza money on the money line. Send it in.
Anybody else want to throw a first-round upset in there before we go to the Midwest? I like the Akron. If Indiana gets by Wyoming, with our guy Mike Woodson over there, Kurt, this is going to be a dangerous team as a 12 seed.
I think this is our good friend Sis and I. We coached him, Mr. Mataloni, saying it's awesome, baby. Checking in from YouTube.
Thanks, Mataloni. What's up? Guys, want to move on to the Midwest?
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
All right. In the Midwest, we got Kansas and one of the 16 seeds in the play-in game. I'm not sure which one. The 8-9 is a good matchup. We got San Diego State out of the Mountain West and the Creighton Blue Jays, who just fell a little short against Villanova, but a strong showing in the Big East tournament. They got the 9 seed. The 5 seed is the Iowa Hawkeyes, who look really good in the Big Ten tournament. And the surprising Richmond Spiders out of the Atlantic 10 pulled off the upset today against Davidson to get themselves into the tournament.
Yeah, we had them this week. We made money with them.
4-13 is going to be Providence and South Dakota State. Little sleeper game there. 6-11 LSU Tigers out of the SEC and the Iowa State Cyclones out of the Big 12. 3-14 Wisconsin and out of the Patriot League Colgate, who put up a nice little showing last year, I believe it was, or the year before that. They almost upset a real good team. I forget who it was, but I remember them. 7-10 Pac-12 USC against the Miami Hurricanes, and the Auburn Tigers get the 2 seed against Jacksonville State. I'm going to bring in our friend Caleb Davis, who's joining us, guys, for a little bit.
What's up, Caleb?
Caleb, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Caleb.
Hey, Caleb.
How you doing?
His audio's off, but maybe he can't hear us. But I'm going to go to, while he's fixing his thing, I'm going to go to Carson. You're going to start this one. A sleeper team in this bracket.
You know what? Call me crazy. I made my bracket as soon as the selection show was over. I have San Diego State getting 8. I think they could take down a bunch of these teams. I'm not so hot on Kansas. I think they're going to get past Creighton. It's a team that can rebound and defend the basketball. I think San Diego State is one to watch out for in the Midwest. The Aztecs.
Okay. Caleb, you with us now?
Yes, I'm back now.
How you doing, Caleb?
What's up?
Good. How's everybody?
Good. We broke down the East already. Do you have, just real quick, do you have a sleeper team out of the East?
Let's see. North Carolina can always get on a run, always well coached. Watch out for Virginia Tech, who just ran through the ACC tournament. They beat Duke in the final, and also Murray State's got 2 losses this year. Murray State plays San Francisco, so you've got two group of 5 teams, non-power 5 teams playing each other in the first round. So you're automatically going to have, I just think maybe one of those 2 teams can make a run. Kentucky lost early in the SEC title, so in the SEC tournament. So you could definitely see one of those 2 teams making it to the second weekend of the tournament.
Fair enough. And Kurt, how about Midwest now? We're in the Midwest. Give me a sleeper.
I mean, is a 5 seed a sleeper?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
You know what? Iowa. They impressed me today. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to go Iowa because again, I'm going with shooters, and this team could shoot. You know, they got a couple nice bigs. McCaffrey as a coach. I'm going to go Iowa.
We got another friend joining us, Mr. Beelan.
All right.
Full house tonight.
Whoever
Full
B
house.
is.
Big panel tonight.
Yeah.
I'll just say Iowa too would be a sleeper for me. So I'll go to Paul.
I'm going to say Creighton. I think they played well in the Big East tournament. They played well in the final against Villanova. So I'm going to say Creighton.
And I like it. Creighton was my team in the Big East. They let me down in the final. I would have been right there in our tournament if Creighton would have pulled it off. But I love their coach. So who else we got? We got Joey Clams. Give me a sleeper in this bracket.
I can't see the bracket in front of me. Is it? This is the one with South Dakota State.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my team. They could shoot the 3. That's South Dakota State. That's my sleeper.
Kurt,
Hello?
I need you to take over. I got to take care of something real quick.
Okay.
What up?
Who else? The Kennedy. What's going on, Mr. Beelan?
Hey, Beelan.
Hey, don't.
Hey, John.
Paul, what do you got as a sleeper in this bracket?
I said Creighton.
Oh, you said okay. So you went Creighton.
Yeah.
Carson, did you give anything on this one?
Yeah, San Diego State.
Okay, I went with Iowa. Caleb, who do you got out of the Midwest as a sleeper?
I'm gonna take Jacksonville State. I think they could definitely beat Auburn. Auburn lost early in the tournament. Jacksonville State really shouldn't be there. They didn't win. They didn't actually win their conference tournament. Bellemare, I think is how you say that.
Yes.
Won their conference tournament, but because they were in transition to D1, they couldn't go to the tournament. So I'm going to say at least Jacksonville State could get possibly to that second weekend. USC hasn't beaten anybody, that's any good this year. They've struggled against quality opponents, and Miami took a lucky shot to beat a down Boston College team. They beat them on a buzzer beater. So I'm going to say Jacksonville State can maybe make it through at least that first game against Auburn.
All right, Mr. Beelan, welcome on the show. By the way, you finished 5th in the pool, but a nice little showing. But Carson won the pool, so Carson Shear is our year 2 champion, Beelan.
Got beat early on a couple of them, man.
You did. It was close. It was good. It was up. And listen, yesterday it was really honestly it got decided really yesterday, and today was really Clams and Carson battling out. But in the Midwest bracket, I know you're not have the bracket in front of you, but Kansas, San Diego State, Creighton, Iowa, Richmond, Providence, South Dakota State, LSU, Iowa State, Wisconsin, Colgate, USC, Miami, Auburn, Jacksonville State. Who's a sleeper for you in that bracket, Beelan?
I mean, after watching these tournament players, Iowa definitely, man, I give a big props to Iowa, man. I was actually watching that game first originally. Who they play? Indiana, right?
No,
Indiana yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah. And I was watching the Indiana game when they went on a route for like 12. It was like 12-3 in the first route. I was like, oh man, Iowa's done. And I actually switched the game off for a little bit, and I came back. I was like, wow, this team's coming back right now. Iowa's tough, man. Big boys over there. Can never turn down San Diego State. Those guys can throw up threes all day. Man, it's gonna be a fun tournament.
Oh,
I actually didn't see any of them yet, so I'm gonna be home in like 5 minutes. So
Okay.
but I'll definitely hop in a little bit more.
All right. Let's go disappointment, Carson, in the Midwest.
I got to go with Wisconsin. I think it's Johnny Davis does not perform well. You saw what happened when he played my Spartans. I mean, he's their go-to guy. It's Brad Davison, Johnny Davis, and Johnny Davis kind of runs the show over there. If he struggles, I could see Wisconsin being a team that'd be a disappointment.
I'm going to jump in, and I'm going to take a Big East team. And one of my friends at work, he texted me. He was at the Big East tournament, and he texted me, and he said, he used one of Kenny's words. He said, Providence is a fraud team. And you know what? When you look at it, I mean, hey, struggled versus Butler, right? Creighton ran him off the court. they had the nice record, but were they really the best Big East team in the? I think Villanova always was. Villanova beat them
I was
twice.
going to say, I think Villanova's still in the Big East, so I'm not sure they can actually make that claim that they're
Right.
the best team
Right.
in the Big
So,
East.
I'm going to take Providence. And like Joey said, South Dakota State could beat them. Then they got to go through Iowa or Richmond. So I'm going to take Providence as my disappointment. Caleb, who's your disappointment?
You took mine. You hit it right on the head with Providence. I was going to talk about I like Ed Cooley as the head coach. They had a great season, but they were lackluster in the tournament. I think they were subpar towards the end of the year. Like you said, you pretty much nailed it right on the head there, Kurt.
All right, Paul.
Yeah, I'm right behind you guys. Exactly with Providence. I couldn't say anything more than you and Caleb just said. Exact words. So yeah, Providence.
Beelan, Kansas, San Diego State, Creighton, Iowa, Richmond, Providence, South Dakota State, LSU. I told you the teams, didn't I? Wisconsin, Colgate, USC, Miami, Auburn, Jacksonville State. Who's a disappointment there for you going to be?
You said this is from the West?
This is in the
Midwest.
Oh, the Midwest. Midwest. Oh man, I gotta. If I had to select one off the top of my head right now, I'd probably say definitely gonna go with Carson and say Wisconsin. Man, I was very disappointed with them actually in the tournament too.
By the way, Wisconsin shot. You know what, Carson? You're the Big Ten guy. They said they were actually the first third-ranked seed, so they were basically ranked 9th. Do you think that's a little high for Wisconsin? How the committee put them, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think they just kind of fell just right. I mean, the Big Ten, you see there's a reason why there's the most teams in the tournament out of the Big Ten, because I believe it's the best conference. But I think, teams like Purdue and Illinois, they kind of paved the way. I think Wisconsin kind of fell right alongside them. I think they were just kind of right in the middle, just kind of placed, not over the radar, but I don't really like them in March this year because I think too much of it depends on if Johnny Davis has a good game or not.
Okay, Clams. Well, hold on one sec, Clams. Who do you got, Clams, as a disappointment?
I got two of them, and I got the both what you're saying. Wisconsin. This kid Davis, he's injured, he's hurt, and they run the ball through him. They got no other answers. They're one dimensional, like Carson's saying. And Providence, they won 4 or 5 games in a row in overtime, late. Listen, you play Russian roulette, when you keep spinning, there's a bullet in there that's going to get you. They're going down to it.
Okay. Let's pick an upset.
You also
Go ahead, Beelan.
Real quick, you also got to put Auburn up there too, man. I mean,
yeah,
they big disappointment. Big disappointment.
You're right, Beelan.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
We got like Caleb saying there could be a 2-15 upset. There's a lot of people that are saying they're not going to get out. They're not going to get out of the first weekend. And like again, they're so dependent on the three. I know they got the big man. I forgot what his name is, but they're so three dependent. And you have a night like they did the other day versus A&M. They were down 17, 18 points to A&M. Listen, it can happen. It's. Go ahead, Caleb.
I think the one thing, if we're going to pick, just to try to jump off the Providence bandwagon, also LSU. LSU just fired Will Wade due to some NCAA investigations for now the second time. Yeah. Where is the mindset of that team? Iowa State. I think Iowa State won 2 games last year, so they had a bounce back season. So you're telling me Iowa State can't mentally just run over LSU at this point?
Yeah. When was the last time a coach got fired going into the tournament?
Before.
Well, this is now your second NCAA investigation within 3 years?
Yeah.
Yes.
And as soon as it came out, he had a clause that said, if he got investigated again, they could fire him immediately. So that's my only other things. Everybody's jumping on the Providence and the Wisconsin. I'm jumping on LSU. They fired Will Wade, headed into the tournament. Just the mindset of that team is where.
All right, let's do this. Let's pick one upset in this bracket, Paul.
Okay. From a seeding standpoint?
Yeah, from a seeding standpoint.
South Dakota State to beat Providence.
All right. Caleb.
Beelan hit it on the head. I mentioned it. I think Auburn's going to lose to Jackson State.
Matches?
I just think that Auburn had a rough showing in the tourney, and I just think Jacksonville State's had a good season. So I'm just going to pick the big upset and go Jacksonville State over Auburn.
Okay. Carson.
Like Miami over USC. Again, the Mobley kid, I forgot his first name, but if he doesn't play well, I think Miami could run him over. They can shoot the ball well. I like the Hurricanes over USC in that one.
Carson, I'm with you. I like the same thing, 10-7. I like Miami. I'm not a big fan of USC. I'm with you on Miami. Beelan, you have an upset in this bracket?
Colgate over Wisconsin.
Whew, there you go.
I like it.
All right, let's move over to the – let's go to the South. All right, we'll go to the South. We'll do sleeper in the South. Let's start with Paul.
I really like Houston, and I don't know if it's a 5th seed you consider a sleeper, but I'm going with Houston as a sleeper in that bracket.
Carson.
Yeah, I go with Paul's Houston. I just don't really see any other team that could make a run out of this besides like the given. I think Arizona's going to win this South, but I would go in to compete with them.
Caleb.
I kind of have a 1A and 1B here. I have UAB, and then also, Loyola Chicago's in that bracket as well. We've seen what they can do in the tournament. So those are. I think I would lean more towards UAB, but y'all remember Loyola Chicago's in that as well. So just be watching out.
Kenny is saying his sleeper is Colorado State.
That was good. I was looking at that as well.
He's going to go Colorado State. I am going to go with, Tennessee's a 3. Illinois is a 4. I don't know. I guess maybe Illinois. I'm saying like to really advance. Again, Illinois, I know a lot. I know Seth Davis is big. I watched him on the pregame. He's big on Chattanooga going to the Sweet 16, beating Illinois and either UAB or Houston. And I don't know. I think I'm going to go with, I guess I'll go Illinois, but that's not that big of a sleeper.
I was going to ask Carson about Illinois. They exited early against Indiana in the tournament. Do we think that that's going to have an effect on how they play in the first weekend?
Yeah, I think so because they were a really high team last year. I think they were a 1 seed last year.
I think they were a 1 seed last year because that Io DeSumo and Kofi Coburn.
Yeah, and they had a disappointing early exit. So I think, they're going to be hungry this year. I think Kofi's going to come for blood, and I think Illinois could compete with Arizona in the South.
And then what do we think of TCU? TCU finished – they beat Kansas, and they lost to Kansas by 2, and they beat Texas to kind of end the season. Do we think TCU could spark with Jamie Dixon and make a run?
Yeah, listen, Seton Hall, TCU, I think that's going to be that's a real nice first-round game. But listen, I'm not a Seton Hall fan, so I don't want to talk really Seton Hall. I don't like them as a St. John's fan. But can I see them win? I think Arizona can have that 1-8-9 game can be a tough second-round game for them. But I still think Arizona wins. Who's disappointed for you, Caleb? Beelan, sorry, Beelan.
Don't sleep on Delaware, and don't sleep on Delaware. You want to talk about shooters going to shoot? Those kids they play a high percentage offense. They're really tough, man.
The only difference there, though, Beelan, I would say, is Jay Wright. It's going to be hard. It's going to be real hard to outcoach Jay Wright and have beat Jay Wright in that game. He's.
Well, we also thought it'd be hard to outcoach Tony Bennett in Virginia with his defensive system, and we saw how that worked.
True. I hope Jenny Hoops didn't hear you on that one. All right, give me disappointment, Paul.
Well, I'm going to go back to Illinois. I think they're going to be disappointing. I think, like you guys were saying, Chattanooga has a good chance to beat them. I think even though they coming back this year, they might be hungrier after losing last year. But I think they're going to disappoint, in my opinion.
All right, Beelan, give me a disappointment in this bracket.
Seton Hall.
Okay. Carson.
I would go with, I'd go with Illinois with Paul. Because again, that Houston Illinois game's a coin flip. I think either way that could go either way. I think it'd be Illinois.
You know what's so scary, Carson, with this is that I so want to be on Illinois. I picked them in brackets last year. I know Sis was on them, and it's like they got the kid Frazier, they got Plummer, obviously they got Copeland, and it's like they could seriously, this team can win this whole thing, or they could get beat in the first round, and it's like just absolutely scary that
Hey, Kurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off for a couple of minutes, but I just wanted to give you my pick for that
Okay.
Region is Chattanooga.
That's your sleeper.
Yeah.
All right,
They
sounds
can play
good, Joe.
ball.
Come back whenever
I'm
you get a
gonna hop
chance.
off.
Come back.
Yeah,
Okay.
mute me.
Sounds good. Caleb, what's your disappointment here?
I think it should be Ohio State. Ohio State lost 4 of the last 5. 3 of the 5 they were ranked, and they lost to an unranked team. They lost to Nebraska. They lost to Michigan. I'm just not sure what kind of momentum's in that program right now. And I touched on it. Everybody knows what Loyola does in the bracket. They can run through this thing very easily. So
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
going
with
to
you,
go Ohio
Caleb.
State.
I'm with you. They're a mess, man. They are. Carson again is the Big Ten guy. What's their problem?
I don't know. Yeah, you'd think the run they had last year, they got upset in the first round by Oral Roberts. You'd think they'd come back swinging with more energy. EJ Liddell, he's going to be.
Oral Roberts shot the lights out the
NBA.
building last year, though.
Yeah.
That guy shot the lights out the building last year.
Yeah, he's going to be good for Ohio State. But again, towards the back end of the year, I mean, they lost to Penn State,
Nebraska,
a bad team. So
they lost to Nebraska. They lost to Maryland.
Yeah.
So
anybody pause upset in this bracket?
I'm going to go with Loyola Chicago against Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Another one that's a sleeper, and I know Houston's hot, but UAB is a nice little team. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they can outright upset them, but that'll be a pretty close game.
I don't know who gave wrong information that I was coming in at 8 o'clock tonight.
We hear Kenny's on the phone here.
I
I can't mute Kenny because he's the host.
I'm sorry. I meant to answer when you called, but we were on the road. So I just got.
I gotta tell Kenny because I hear Kenny.
This is live. We are live.
Hold him back. Shit.
You have. I don't know if Kenny does hear me, but going back.
I'm sorry, you got stuck there.
Carson, what's your upset?
All right.
This is the one division where I have all chalk. I don't really see too much going on here. I could go with Paul. I could see Loyola upsetting Ohio State just because Ohio State's not been clicking at the right time. If I had to pick, I'd pick Loyola, but I got all chalk in this division of the bracket.
All right, Caleb.
I'm going to go 3 for 3 with Loyola, So we talked about them being a sleeper. We talked about Ohio State being the letdown. 2 plus 2 is always 4. So let's just make the math work. It's going to be the Loyola over Ohio State.
Okay. You know what? Can I see Michigan beat Colorado State? Michigan's getting a tough time. They shouldn't have been in. They should have been in a playing game, yada, yada. I'm going to take Michigan over Colorado State. I mean, hey, you're still a Big Ten team. They still beat a lot of good teams.
I looked at that, but the way that Indiana came back against Michigan, I'm just not sure what fight that team has left. We talked about, should Juwan Howard even be there? That's a whole different story. But for you to come out and talk to he talked to every player individually before the tournament, and then you go up by 17 on Indiana and you lose. I'm just not sure what that locker room has right now.
Okay. Let's move to the West. Is Beelan still with us or he's not?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay. Kenny's going Loyola Chicago. All right, in the West, give me a sleeper team, Paul.
I love Memphis. I think they can really make a run, in my opinion. And I think they would give Gonzaga a very good game. So I'm going to say Memphis.
Carson, cover your ears. I am very impressed with Davidson, man. I don't know if I
They're
want.
good.
I'm going to say this. I think Duke's going to get beaten that second round to either Michigan State or Davidson. I really do. Duke cannot shoot. You know, they're not an outside shooting team. And their defense has been giving up tons of points in this ACC tournament. I don't know. I'm going to say Davidson is my sleeper. Carson.
Okay. Sleeper. You know what? I'm Coach Breslin. I think Rutgers is going to beat Notre Dame in the first four. I think they're going to beat Bama. You know, thank God Sis isn't on the show to kill me, but I think Rutgers gets past Alabama.
Kayla.
I agree with Paul. We're going to go Memphis. But another one, you know, I'm actually going the other way. Notre Dame finished second in the ACC. They lost to Virginia Tech, who ended up winning the ACC title. But I definitely think I think Notre Dame got the rough end of the draw, finishing second in the ACC, and you're in the first four. So I can definitely see Notre Dame making a run. Mike Bray's an experienced coach. And Alabama just doesn't have the firepower they had last year. So I'm going to go with Notre Dame to make a run.
All right. Paul, disappointment in this bracket.
I'm going to say Duke. Like you guys were just saying, I think they can be out very quickly. And actually, Carson, I have Michigan State beating Davidson and then beating Duke.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, so there's more to where that comes from.
I'm with you, Paul. I'm going to go Duke too. Carson.
Yeah.
You said disappointment?
Yeah, disappointment.
I think it's Gonzaga. I have UConn beating Gonzaga in my Sweet 16. I just don't see the hype around this team. You saw what they did. They lost to St. Mary's a few weeks ago. I know they got Chet, and I know they've been trying to win a title at that school for a while. But I think when there's bigger competition against Gonzaga, I think UConn's going to get them in the Sweet 16. I go Gonzaga as a disappointment.
Bryce's comment in this is saying Alabama being a 6 seed. Wow.
Yeah,
so
that was a shock.
Caleb.
I'm going to go with those Alabama Crimson Tide as my disappointment. I looked around, you know, Boise State's having a great season, so that's not necessarily a disappointment. Everybody else is kind of – the only thing I think is I can see maybe UConn going down in that first round, but if I'm going to go with Alabama.
Okay.
Because I think either Rutgers or Notre Dame, either one of those teams is very capable of beating that Alabama team this year.
Okay. Paul, you got an upset in this bracket early on?
Let's go with I like Notre Dame also. Let's go with Notre Dame beating Alabama.
Okay. Carson.
Upset. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Rutgers over Alabama. The winner of that game, I think, beats Bama.
Okay. You know, I mean, listen. How the hell would it? Carson beat me in the pool, so I guess I gotta get my payback. I'm gonna go Davidson. I really like this coach, and this team could shoot. They have a great offense.
Yeah.
They could again, and I guess I'll say my second upset is again whoever wins Michigan State Davidson beats Duke in that second round. Caleb.
Kurt. Hey, Kurt.
Yes, sir.
Let me give you my sleeper. Arkansas is my sleeper, but as a sleeper going to the Final Four.
Okay.
Wow.
And my disappointment real quick in this bracket's going to be I like Duke like all you guys, but I think Montana State's got a shot at beating Texas Tech.
Okay. Phelan.
I'm going to go with the very small difference in range of where they are, but Memphis over Boise State.
Okay. Hey, it's an upset. All right. So let's do this. Let's get back to the East bracket. Let's do who is going to be in your Elite Eight. So who's going to be in that Eastern, regional final? And then who comes out of it? So we'll start with Paul. Give me your two from the East and who eventually comes out of it.
Baylor, definitely. And I will say Kentucky.
Okay. And who comes out?
Baylor, Final Four.
Carson.
Carson, you're up.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, my connection is going in and out. I got Baylor and Purdue's going to beat Baylor.
Okay. Kenny.
Ready for mine?
Yeah.
Purdue, Battle of Indiana. Indiana's going to get in there and make a run like UCLA did last year. And it's going to be Purdue and Indiana in the Elite Eight.
All right. I'll go next.
I guess I get Wyoming with that too, but I got Indiana.
All right. As much as I wanted to do St. Mary's, I'm just it's so hard because, like you're saying, they got to go through that Wyoming, Indiana. So I am going to take UCLA in the top bracket with Kentucky, and I am going to be all in on Calipari's Kentucky. Beelan.
UCLA, Purdue. I think UCLA is going to get up in there.
And Caleb.
I had McCarson. I had the same thing. I had Baylor and Purdue. And actually, it's going to go the other way. I think Scott Drews knows how to coach in the tournament. So after coming off a national championship, I'm actually going to go Baylor and there to go to that Final Four.
Okay.
And my pick is Purdue. I can't believe I'm doing this, but Purdue to get Baylor. I don't like that coach neither, but I just think they got a favorable bracket if they can get by Kentucky.
All right, let's go to the Midwest. We'll start with Paul. Give me your regional final in the Midwest.
It will be Kansas and I'm gonna go with Auburn, but Kansas is gonna beat Auburn in the Elite Eight.
Beelan.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Kansas, Auburn, but I think I'm going to go with Auburn over Kansas.
Okay, Carson.
A little bit different. It's going to kind of shock you, but I think Providence and Auburn are going to come out, and Auburn's going to go to the Final Four.
All right, I'll go next. Well, I don't really want to do. I'm high on Iowa, but I'm telling you, like I am so anti-Kansas. But I saw Kansas come back versus Texas last week. I saw them hold off Texas Tech yesterday. I like them. I really do. They got 2-3 guys that can make the big shot. So I'm going to go a little chalk here. Kansas, Auburn. I don't really like anybody on the bottom. Maybe Wisconsin, but I'm going to take Kansas to go to the Final Four. Kenny.
I'm going to go Kansas, Wisconsin. Auburn looks like they got a tough second-round matchup against USC or Miami, so that's going to be a scary game for Auburn, as opposed to, I think, Wisconsin. If they get by Colgate, looking at an LSU or Iowa State team, I think they'll get a favorable matchup there. Kansas goes, though, Final Four.
Caleb.
I tried to see how this would work. If I ended up picking the 15 over the 2, and it would have been Kansas, Miami, and I could not just make Miami work. Maybe Bruce Pearls can get them figured out. I'm going to go Kansas, Auburn. And at this point, I just like you, neither one of those teams scare me. Kansas, we know in the tournament can make a run or they can lose an opening weekend. And we're not really sure what Auburn is. I just think the run Kansas made through the Big 12 tournament will help them with the momentum going through this tournament. So I'm going to go Kansas over Auburn.
All right, I got everybody.
Clams is with it back with us.
Okay, Clams, give me your elite. Give me your out of your
I
region.
don't have a sheet in front of me.
Okay, so just chime in then with what we're saying at the end after what we hear. And Caleb, who do you got? I'm sorry, I didn't go to Caleb, right?
Yeah, I had Kansas, Auburn. I was talking about Kansas's run through the Big 12 tournament and Auburn and their lackluster run in the SEC tournament. And if Auburn would have lost, I couldn't define Miami in the Elite Eight. So I just figured might as well stay chalk and just let Auburn do what they're going to do.
All right, let's go to the South. Paul, your regional final.
I strongly like Villanova, and I'll go with Arizona. I don't love them, but I'll go Villanova, Arizona, with Villanova and Jay Wright definitely beating them.
All right, this bracket is so hard because there's a lot of teams. I like Arizona. I like Illinois. I like Villanova. But I'm telling you, I love this new team. Kenny, you ready for this, Kenny?
I'm
Longwood. Longwood.
Not Longwood, baby.
Oh, okay. All right.
I love Tennessee, Kenny.
Okay.
Shoot the threes,
Tennessee.
play defense, and I'm telling you, I saw a team out hustle Kentucky, out physical Kentucky. Listen, I am high on Tennessee, baby. Joey Clams put it out there today. They destroyed A&M. I am going Tennessee, Arizona, and I'm taking Tennessee to get to the Final Four. Beelan.
Yeah, I'm going Arizona, Tennessee, but I like Arizona a little bit better than Tennessee.
All right. Carson.
Yeah, I'm the same with Beelan. I like Arizona and Tennessee out of the South, and then Arizona's going to beat Tennessee to go to the Final Four.
Kenny.
Which you guys, Arizona, Tennessee, and changing my mind. I'm going to go Tennessee like Kurt. He sold me on Tennessee.
There you go, Kenny. Caleb.
I can definitely see TCU giving Arizona more defensively than what they want. Jamie Dixon was a hell of a coach, but I have Arizona Villanova, and I actually have Villanova. Arizona's got a young head coach, and we talked about it when we talked about Delaware. It's hard to outcoach Jay Wright. His players are always ready. He's always got a veteran-led squad, so I'm going to go Villanova over Arizona in that bracket.
All right, Clams. Anything on from what you heard from us? What would you like?
Yeah, like from the chalk, I'm leaning towards Tennessee a little bit because they're physical, and I think teams ain't going to be ready for them on a short notice. But I will be looking for a couple of sleepers or some value in that conference in the next couple of days. But as the chalk right now, I like Tennessee to come out of there, but I'm going to be looking for some value picks. And I'll have them on the show on Wednesday night.
All right. Let's get to the West, Paul. Your regional final.
Carson, you'll love my pick. You love Izzo. He's been there, done that. I'm picking Michigan State.
Nice.
Go all the way, Final Four, and
Wow.
excuse me, and they'll beat Gonzaga in the Elite Eight.
Okay.
Nice.
Carson.
Who do you
It's
have
a
in
play
wise
the
at Michigan State?
I tried to let my emotions not take control of my picks. I learned that from Joey Clams. I'm going to go a totally different, kind of out of left field. UConn and Texas Tech, and Texas Tech's going to go to the Final Four. So I'm sorry. I hate to do it. I hope I'm wrong, but I think Duke's going to beat State. I just I love it. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope State gets past them, but I think Duke beats State, and then who do I have them losing to? I have them losing to Texas Tech. So yeah,
Carson,
UConn,
you know
Texas.
what, Carson? I'm with you, man. I love, again, not the biggest Big 12 fan, but Texas Tech impressed me. In this tournament. In the tournament, they hung there. They were right there with Kansas, and I'm with you. I just think they play defense. They have a couple, they can shoot from the outside, but they're a defensive team. I'm going to go Gonzaga over Texas Tech is mine. Kenny.
I think they're trying really hard to get Duke to the Final Four here, looking at this bracket. I'm going to take them to go to the Elite Eight. I'm going to go Duke on the bottom, and I'm going to go Arkansas on top. Top looks kind of easy for Gonzaga, but there's Arkansas in the wings waiting for them as a 4 seed. So I'm going to go Arkansas over Duke to get into the Final Four.
Beelan.
Yeah, Gonzaga, Duke, but I'm going to take Duke over Gonzaga.
Caleb.
I have Memphis and Texas Tech. Memphis has a lot of talent. Penny Hardaway knows basketball, and Gonzaga struggles when they play other talented teams in the postseason. And the regular season, when the games don't matter as much, but in the postseason, they just can't seem to figure it out. So I have Memphis actually over Texas Tech. And I see Texas Tech back on the going back to the Final Four for I think the second time in 4 years.
Okay. Henry saying I joined the group pool and used the BPI feature with the new modifications to make my pick. All right, let's see who Henry likes. Henry, give us your picks. So Caleb went, Beelan went. All right, so everybody's there. All right, so now let's get. So we got our Final Four. Joey, what do you got?
I got Connecticut. Who they play in the first game? Because that's a scary game.
New Mexico State.
Yeah, see, that's a scary game. If they get by there, I see Connecticut win it, and go into the Final Four. But I'm gonna look for another team in there. But I like Connecticut coming out of that bracket. But watch out for New Mexico State. That's a tricky game. So I'm gonna be looking for somebody else in that bracket.
Henry saying that the bracket, the modification made his pick, and it said Ohio State. I would delete that. No, Henry, don't do it, Henry. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I worry about you sometimes, Henry.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
If this is a money pool, you better send your money out now because you ain't gonna be held on to it long. Okay.
Carson, real quick, who plays? So now on the Final Four, what sides play? Is it
you talking to me?
Yeah. What sides play in the Final Four?
West plays East. West plays East, and South and Midwest.
Okay. South and Midwest. Okay, perfect. All right. So, Paul, so now you have your Final Four. Who wins that? Who's in the national championship? And who is your national champ?
So I have Michigan State going against Baylor. And Carson, unfortunately, I have Baylor going back to the championship game. And on the other side, I have Villanova against Kansas. And I really like Villanova against them. And so I have for my final game, championship game, Baylor against Villanova.
All right. Carson.
Yeah, kind of different. I got 2 3 seeds, Texas Tech and Purdue. I like this Purdue team a lot. I watched them all year in the Big Ten. There's nobody that can stop Zach Edey. He's 7'4". Every time you try to stop, you're going to foul the guy. I like Jaden Ivey a lot as well. I got Purdue over Texas Tech going to the championship. And then South and Midwest, I have Arizona and Auburn. I like Arizona a lot, but I'm telling you, Jabari Smith's going to have. I like Auburn and Bruce Pearl going to the championship. And then I have Auburn hosting the trophy, beating Purdue in the national championship.
All right. I like that. I have just because I want to stick it up Kenny, stick it to Kenny. Of course, I'm taking my Gonzaga Bulldogs. They're going to play Kentucky, and that's going to be a tremendous game. I got Gonzaga beating Kentucky on that bracket. And on the other side, my new love, the Tennessee Volunteers, beating Kansas. And, hey, am I going to be nuts and say Tennessee's going to hold that trophy? Nope, because it's finally Gonzaga's year. Even though they were better, I think, last year, I think this year, I don't know. I think they might be the better team. Like, I don't know. I really like them this year. They got, of course, Chet. Tilly's back. Hey, Few's I think he's gonna get it. I think guys have been there, done that, and they stick it up Kenny because Kenny keeps saying that they're frauds. So I don't know how there could be frauds back to back, number 1 seed in the tournament. But hopefully they get it so Kenny can shut up about Gonzaga.
Kansas gets in every year and loses in like the opening weekend or the Sweet 16. So it's possible.
I know I'm not on video, but I gotta explain why they're frauds, in my opinion. Maybe Joey will back me up on this. Sure, they play a tremendous schedule at the beginning of the year, but then they get their conference, and almost every year they go undefeated in their conference. The teams are starting to catch up to them now. St. Mary's, you got San Francisco. Teams are getting in there now.
What you say, catch up? What do you want them to be? 30-0 every year?
I said they played a heck of a schedule at the beginning of the year, but then their talent drops going into their conference, and now they're facing that tough schedule again in March Madness, and that's where they hit a team that catches fire, and they struggle in the tournaments. They should have won it last year. They were undefeated, but they didn't.
They lost to a historic, great defensive Baylor team. Come on.
Shout out Jared Butler.
Frauds, Joey. Frauds.
No, you know what, Kenny? They got you get to the Final Four and they got to the championship. Listen, I was on the same thinking like that too. But last year they played a tough game and they were losing. They came back against a tough team. Somebody can remind me who they played in last year to get to the Final Four.
UCLA.
Last year was last year, but you can't.
No, but I'm saying they got over that. That was a spot for them to lose. There was a game before that they played to get there. They had it was a tough game, and they got through it because they weren't never tough enough. But I think there might be a different team, but I don't have them winning over that. I got UConn coming out of that.
Okay.
That was the most boringest final I've ever seen in college basketball history last year. It was over in the first 3 minutes. It was over. Right, Phelan? It was over in the first 3 minutes last year.
By the way, they're non-conference schedule this year. I'm just going to throw some.
I told you they got a great
Okay.
non-conference schedule, but then
Texas, UCLA, Duke, Alabama, Texas Tech. I mean, who else you want them to play?
all right. Well,
Guys, this is from the guy that wanted Cincinnati in the college football playoff.
Here we go.
Let's start. I'm still the host.
Sir,
Go ahead, Caleb.
Sir, can we? Texas and Alabama are not who we thought they were.
True.
So please knock them down from how quality opponent that Gonzaga has played. St. Mary's was a better opponent for them. Go ahead, continue, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Mr. Kirkpatrick, you're up.
Real quick. Read their January schedule, Kirk.
San Diego.
I mean, they lost to Alabama.
At Alabama. No, a neutral court. Neutral court that was.
Okay.
Give me their conference schedule. The Loyola Marymount, San Diego, Loyola Marymount again, Portland.
Well, there's three teams. There's three teams in that bracket, right?
There is. I said they're catching up to them a little bit.
Oh, they're catching up to them.
And there's
you know what, Kenny? You know what? The conference is getting better. They're getting more competitive. They don't have the walkthrough like they do because the other teams, like San Francisco and the other teams, St. Mary's, they're becoming more competitive because the people like to play in that conference. And so, yeah, they're a good.
Here's one for you.
Good team.
Well, let me not forget Pepperdine, the surfing team.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna surf, that's good over there.
We're talking about teams getting better. There's 9 big teams. There's 9 Big Ten teams in this tournament, and I think maybe one of us has a Big Ten team in the final. So let's not base this all on, your conference because
I have Michigan State.
So Purdue and Michigan State are who we have in the final. But you have 9 teams. Nobody has Illinois. Nobody has Wisconsin. Nobody has Ohio State. The tournament's not all, but continue.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Team won it all was 2000 Michigan State. It's been 22 years since a Big Ten team's won.
Wow.
So they're due for one.
I got Purdue versus Arkansas.
Okay.
I got Arkansas beating Purdue. Sorry, Carson, it's not the Big Ten's year again this year. And I got Tennessee and Arizona. I got Arizona beating Tennessee. I got Arizona winning in the final.
Phelan.
My final four is Duke, Purdue, Arizona, and Iowa. And then I got Purdue versus Arizona, and Arizona taking it.
Phelan, I learned my lesson with Iowa last year. I ain't taking an Iowa team.
Hey, Kurt, I don't think I told you Villanova is my national champion.
Okay, I'm sorry. So Villanova is your national champ.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Wright, that would be what, number 4 for him?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Kenny, you gave us yours, Kenny?
Arizona over Arkansas in the final.
And Clams.
Just right for now, Tennessee, Kansas, Connecticut, and now Kentucky is in it because I can't see the bracket. Kentucky's in the other bracket.
Kentucky's in the East, yes.
Yeah.
And give me a couple of the teams in that bracket quick because I want to put somebody else beside.
Baylor, Purdue, North Carolina's in that bracket. UCLA's in that bracket.
Murray State's
in the bracket. Indiana could possibly be in that bracket.
Give me Murray State.
Okay, that's a nice little run for Murray State.
Okay. All right, Mr. Kirkpatrick. So those are our champs. Anything else?
Wait, hold on. I would like to do mine, please.
Oh, sorry, Caleb. I'm sorry.
Jeez. I looked around and I was like, oh, this is the Big 12's year. I have Texas Tech and Baylor on one side and Kansas and Villanova on the other. I have Baylor, Villanova, and just like Paul, it's so hard to repeat, especially in college basketball. I have Villanova over Baylor as much as my heart pounds for Baylor.
Nice.
I have Villanova over Baylor. Okay.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, they do. All right, Mr. Valencia, it's now you can have the floor. I just
sorry about that, Caleb. Sorry.
I just wanted to turn this off. That was all.
Mr. Kirkpatrick, whatever else you want.
I think we're almost ready to wrap it up. How about Joey Clams? How about giving us your first 4 picks? Give us not the 16 seeds, but give us Rutgers, Notre Dame. Who comes out of that one, Joe?
Rutgers. Rutgers wins that game, and then they win the next game.
And how about Wyoming versus Indiana?
I'm going with the Cowboys. Wyoming.
Fair enough. And I think anybody want to talk about we talk like 1 minute. I want to do this for 1 minute, Kirk, because we're running late.
Okay.
I know, just for Henry, who brought it up earlier. Colorado. I got their record in front of me. Colorado was 21-11. They got snubbed out of the tournament. 12-8 in the Pac-12. Yet Michigan gets in as an 11 seed, finishing 9th in the Big Ten. Other teams that got snubbed, A&M, who made a big, deep run in the SEC, 23-12. They were 9-9 in the SEC. And you could say Wake Forest got snubbed, 23-9, 13-7 in the ACC. My problem I have with Michigan is Rutgers finished 8th in the conference, and they're playing in the play-in game, as opposed to Michigan playing Colorado State in an opening round game. Rutgers gets an extra game. What are your thoughts on that, Kurt, real quick in like a minute
you know
or less?
what? I think we should go to Carson. I mean, really, he's the Big Ten guy. Like, I think we should get his thoughts on that and see. I mean, he probably watched those games more. Do you agree with that, Carson? That Rutgers should Rutgers have been the one that had the automatic time in, and in the playing game should be Michigan, or do you have no problem with the way it is?
Yeah, 100%. I think Michigan should have been a play-in team. You know, they had the number one recruiting class coming out of the country, and then they were like in the top 10 to start AP preseason. They just fell off a cliff. They couldn't get it together. They struggled towards the end. Yeah, they had a few good games towards the end of the season. Then they had, Jawan Howard assault a man. Doesn't believe that he should be suspended for the rest of the tournament, which I think is total baloney. I think Rutgers definitely deserves to be where Michigan is. Michigan got a very, very, very lucky draw with that 11 seed playing Colorado State. And yeah, I think Henry's Colorado team got screwed. I think they could have easily been a play-in team fighting for the first four. But yeah, it is what it is. The committee did what they did, but I think for the majority, they got it right. They got some good matchups, and I think it's going to be a lot of upsets this year. I'm looking forward to it.
Did Michigan get? And we talked about this. I think we talked about the whole Jawan Howard thing. Did Michigan get in for their namesake and not necessarily their schedule?
That's what I was going to say.
100%.
That's what I was going to.
Because what's more of a notable brand, Michigan or Rutgers?
Right.
That's
right.
What,
But how?
And Michigan and Colorado. You know what? Michigan lost a lot of bad losses they had. They lost bad.
Yep.
Well,
How do you put,
Kenny, real quick.
Kurt, how do you put?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to go to you, Kurt. I was saying, how do you put in Rutgers in a play-in game when they finished it higher, even though they had a one-game better record? They finished 8th in the conference. Michigan finished 9th in the conference. So isn't it go by conference records? And overall records. Michigan 17-14.
They want that guaranteed game on Thursday or Friday with Michigan for TV ratings.
Yeah. And we kind of talked about that. I think we talked about the college football playoffs as well. Part of that is driven by money. Is what money we all know money makes the world go round.
Well, really quickly, it's like how my Spartans got screwed for a first 4 game last year when they had to play UCLA, and they had so much better resume than all these other teams.
Yep.
We beat 3 straight top 10 teams to close out the year last year, and they put us into those first 4. It was ridiculous. It's all about money. It's all about ratings. It's they're like, oh, well, we got to have at least some. Nobody watches the first 4, so we have to put in some
No, here's
kind
what
of exciting.
that
is. It's all about money and ratings, and that's the way it comes down to it.
Here's what that is. You know why they made them play each other? If they were afraid if they played separate teams, they both could get knocked out. Because at least if you have one of them the next day for the game, that's it. Bang.
Right.
Somebody makes it. We got somebody.
Guys, real quick. I'll tell you this. Me, Jenny Hoops, and Henry might be having to do a viewing party because Colorado's playing St. Bonaventure in the NIT. UVA is playing Mississippi State, and they're saying, hopefully St. John's gets invited. There's only 16 more teams left. But I'm going to ask you guys one more question, and Kenny, I'll answer yours. And I've said this with college football. The thing that makes college football or the conference tournament games where you have a team like Alabama, right? You have a team like Alabama and Georgia. Either way, like Alabama doesn't beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, they're probably out. They don't get to the tournament, right? I just think, and I always argue this with Jenny Hoops, and we were talking about it today. They got to do something with these conference tournaments in basketball, because Carson's saying, hold on one second, Kate. Carson was saying, Michigan State wins 4 in a row last year. They're hot. They're in a playing game. You get Baylor, who gets run off the court by Oklahoma, and you have a 1 seed. Tennessee goes on this run, wipes out Kentucky, and they're like, what did that game mean for Kentucky? What did it mean? Like, come on. Like,
I have proof. I have proof
Yeah.
that the conference tournament means nothing with Bellarmine winning the A Sun and Jacksonville being the team that they played that made it to the conference final. But because Jacksonville State won the regular season, they're in the tournament. That right there tells me these conference tournaments mean nothing.
Right,
Yeah.
but I'm saying it's just ridiculous. Like, you're rewarding Duke as a 2. They got beat by, 15 last night. Tennessee is one of the hottest teams in the country. Goes by, blows out Kentucky and A&M. And they're a 3, I mean, come on.
Yeah,
I just
you're
want to
right.
know how. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right, because you go through 3, you win 3-4 games in the tournament. That should carry some weight. That should carry some weight of where you're seated in the tournament, because if a team doesn't go far in the tournament or don't win the tournament, they might not be able to get a ticket.
Well, let me ask you this.
if
I want to go
they-
to Carson. I want to go
work
to
both
Carson on
ways.
this, because there was talk. Carson, what's the best conference in
Tennessee
college
should be at
basketball?
least a 2 or a 1.
Carson,
Big Ten. There's 9 teams in the
Big Ten, right?
tournament.
Big Ten.
Yeah.
So how in the world today they were saying Purdue's not playing for anything? If Purdue would have won today, they're not a 1 over Baylor? How? Like, you're the best team in the conference. I don't get it. How are they not playing for a 1? And Baylor loses in the quarterfinals and they're just given a 1 seed? It doesn't make sense to me.
That's
Yeah.
bad. Baylor's not a number 1 seed. Baylor,
No,
that's what
they're
I'm
not.
They're going to get. That's going to be a disappointment. They're going down. Go against Baylor.
When is the last
Holy
time?
Rose.
Think about this. When's the last time you had a team who didn't win the regular season title or a conference title, and you're a number 1 seed? Right? Baylor didn't win the regular season. Kansas did, didn't they?
They split. I think it was a shared. I think it was a shared conference title. I'll check on that. Go ahead.
But come on.
But I'll check on
But
that.
come on.
Kurt, Moses and his team, Duke, the guy that walks on water, he used to get he used to lose the conference. He lost the conference all the time. They give him a number 1 seed.
I just
Yeah, no,
want
it
to
doesn't
know.
make sense.
When was the
Look.
last time that guy ever coached? You ever
I
seen him
get-
coach a good game?
Look,
Joey,
I just
Joey.
want to.
Oh, no, go ahead. You first, Caleb. Then
I just wanna
We're
know-
going to get final thoughts in, too, because we're running late.
Okay.
I just want to know how A&M didn't make it. Look at this. They finished the season on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-game win streak before losing to Tennessee in the conference championship game. Alabama was ranked. Mississippi State, Florida, 4th-ranked Auburn, 15th-ranked Arkansas. You played 9th-ranked Tennessee in the SEC championship game, and you're telling me that's not a better team than Michigan.
I know what
I
everybody was
agree.
saying about the ratings, but I want to ask. I would love to invite, and I'm going to reach out. And I'm going to do homework this week, and I'm going to see if I can find somebody who's a past Final Four, somebody who creates the panel, that do the numbers here. I doubt we'll get somebody on, but I'm going to try my hardest, and I want to ask them. And I want an honest answer from them. We all know what the answer is, but I want to see what their answer would be when they say Rutgers, 18-13 record, 12-8 in the Big Ten, is in a play-in game, but we're going to put Michigan in as ahead of them, 17-14 win, 11-9 record in the Big Ten.
Kurt, that was a share. Kurt, that was a shared title in the Big 12.
Okay.
Kansas
So, all
and Baylor
right.
shared
So,
the
sure.
title.
Okay.
They shared the Big 12 title.
But I just don't get it. I mean, Carson, I could be wrong, but wasn't like Purdue a top 5 team all year long?
Yes, they were at lowest. I think I saw them at like 8th or 9th.
So they're a top 5 team all year long. And again, not that because they didn't win, but there was like no talk of, oh, it's done, it's Baylor, it's Baylor. Like if they would have won, beat Iowa today, and they're Big Ten champs, the best conference, the champs, they're not a 1. I mean, just,
Yeah, they should be at least a 2, if
At
not a
least,
1.
exactly.
A 3 seed was robbery for them, especially, and they made the conference championship game.
Right, that's what
and
I
they
know.
barely lost to Iowa.
I want to point out, while we're all picking Texas Tech was 18-0 at home and 3-8 on the road. Do we think that's going to affect them in the tournament?
Yes.
Exactly.
So maybe
I Red Raiders.
Maybe I go back and revise some picks. But as I'm looking at the Big 10 standings, or Big 12 standings, Texas Tech was 3-8 on the road this year.
The last team that got
the
last team that got snubbed, Colorado. Henry nailed it. 21-11, 12-8 in the Pac-12. They were fourth in the Pac-12 or fifth, and then there was a big drop off after UCLA, USC, Arizona. They should have put a fourth team in, knowing how well they did last year in the tournament. The Pac-12 had an amazing showing last year in the tournament, and they don't put Colorado in there with a winning record and a winning record in the Pac-12. Shame on the committee for that.
Okay. Colorado was 1-6 versus ranked teams, if that means anything.
That does mean a little something, but
But I do agree. Usually, in any other year, the
Pac-12 is at least in the tournament.
Yeah.
All right, Mr.
Let's do final thoughts, Kurt. You do the order.
You know what? We'll start with Carson.
Yeah, can't wait for the games next week. It's going to be a blast. I think there's going to be a lot of upsets next week. I'm hoping my Spartans can, make a run. I hope they, in a good way, I hope my Spartans break my bracket and they go far. Because I have to lose but I hope that's the case. Again, enjoy the games this week. Obviously, it's one of the biggest betting times of the year, which is exciting. But again, don't be over your head. Don't be an idiot. And gamble with money you can only afford to lose. And once again, if you want to join our free lunch, I'll post the link on Facebook.
Yes,
and YouTube. And give away a $100 Amazon gift card for first place. Second place gets merchandise, totally free to enter. And it was a pretty good success last year as well, if you guys want to join that.
All right.
Present. I'm in.
I will go second. Again, Carson, congratulations on the championship, second title. Well, the second year champion.
Thanks.
Mike St. John's. Again, I love this time. I am pumped for March Madness. Mike St. John's, Red Storm are not in it, but who the hell cares? Because my quarterback is Russell freaking Wilson, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
Rub that in.
Caleb, you're next, Caleb. Final thought.
Guys, let's just think about 2 years ago where we were. March Madness was around, and the whole tournament was canceled.
Yep.
Last year was COVID.
Yeah.
None of the environment actually looked like a real March Madness. Guys, we've made it. We are on the backside, I believe, of this pandemic.
And fans are back. There's going to be
fans are back. Exactly. That's what I was getting at right there. The atmosphere of these games are going to be different. The more upsets, the better this tournament is every year. So let's just look at a retrospective. 2 years ago, we didn't have it. Last year, it wasn't the same. This should be the first real tournament in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So sit back, watch these games, and enjoy what you're watching.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mr. Beelan.
Short and sweet, man. Listen, tomorrow's tampering for NFL.
Yep.
Then you got the college basketball following after that. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go, man. It's one of the best times of the year.
Also, baseball's back.
And baseball's back.
Baseball's back. So now we can all start hating each other for the same reason that the Yankees are the Yankees and the Rockies are eliminated.
Caleb Beelan's your guy for baseball. Caleb's thinking about doing a baseball show at the Rocky Mountain Network. Beelan is your guy.
Yeah.
I'm in. Listen, I've been all week. I've been hearing stuff from Met fans on Twitter. If Freeman doesn't sign with the Braves,
LA.
I hope he goes to LA because I do not want to see him in the Mets or Yankees.
It's basically, look, this is going to hurt my heart because everybody knows I have it right here. Here it is. If this man right here, I respect this man for what he's done.
Yes, sir.
If he goes to the Dodgers, best of wishes. I'm just glad it's not the Yankees, like you said. It's not the Yankees, it's the Braves or the Dodgers. But I need to know. We need to figure this out now.
Mr. Clams, final thoughts.
Yeah, listen, bet the favorite early, bet the dog late. I'll come on with you on Wednesday. I'll get some put some things together, look
Okay.
at these numbers, and Carson. Yeah, I want to get in your pool. Kurt, is there a way you could text him my phone number so I could go over? But Carson, you all right with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Listen, I got the burner,
Thanks,
so don't
Carson.
worry about it. You know what I mean? I got the burner.
By the way, Kenny, breaking news: St. John's didn't even make the NIT. So yeah, Russell freaking Wilson, Beelan, and Tamar tampering period. That's my March Madness.
Oh, also, if you haven't seen it, Tom Brady unretired.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
If you
are.
haven't
we knew
seen
that
that
was
either.
happening. Mr. Rosen, your final thoughts.
Yeah, the beauty of this year's tournament is that there is no clear-cut number one favorite in any of the brackets. It's
That
an
means it's
open. Let me finish, Caleb. Open tournament. There's going to be a lot of close games, a lot of upsets, and I think that's the beauty of this tournament. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, and I think we're all looking forward to it.
All right, and Mr. Kirkpatrick, you have the final thoughts.
Short,
Hey, Caleb,
short and sweet.
whoa. Hey, Anthony, he's a big boy. Let him, he knows what he said.
Go ahead, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
I got to end it short and sweet. We're running. We are way over time here. Last year I started a chant, and I'm going to continue it this year, and we're going to get it. We're going to get it this year. Hashtag 16 Norfolk State, baby. Let's go. That was the first team that was after Gonzaga last year on the Gonzaga train.
Yep.
Let's go. Hashtag Norfolk State, Clams. Let's go.
Hey,
Green and yellow.
Hey, Pecorino Romano, right all over. Sprinkle some more on.
That's it. No, I enjoy the upsets. So let's get one of those 16s this year. Never say never. Right?
Yep.
Don't never say never to Jenny Hoops. That'll be my last statement of the night.
There you go. All right, boys. Great show, and we will see you guys on Wednesday.
Hey, Carson, thank you. You do that for me. Thank you. Give me a call.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.